What is up, everybody? This is Tikwe, also known as Richard, and I'm coming back to you guys with another game. I just want to point out maybe a little bit of mistakes on my side, and specifically playing against the French. I think English, French, and Mongols are probably one of the strongest three factions right now in the game. But I want to show you guys why, necessarily the English struggles a little bit against the French, and what you can do better to make your life a little bit easier when you're playing the English. So immediately I go for a barracks to go for the men-at-arm rush, and I actually get it down really quickly. You can see the first two villagers, excuse me, that was a hiccup. First two villagers drop down the barracks and the house, because otherwise you're going to reach population cap, and then you train your first men-at-arms. I queue both of them, so I immediately, as soon as the food is dropped off, you can train the villager after that and not struggle with the timing of the men-at-arms. So when you are playing this strategy, what you want to do is firstly scout out the enemy to know exactly where they're starting with the gold. You can see he's kind of expecting the gold rush, so he's going very heavy on the gold by sending 3 villagers instead of 1. But these days, I think the best way to kind of counter this is going for an outpost, but then you also get the idle time because you have to garrison every single time. So, in my opinion, the best way to counter a men-at-arms rush and not having to invest more resources, and why this is actually not good against the French, because if you're playing the French and you have to relocate onto another gold mine, it's only 25 wood. You don't gain anything by destroying this mining camp. You just get a bit of time, but you also lose time, because now if you look at the resources, we are still behind in terms of aging up. So this is trying to win us a bit of time, but we won't really get that much time. Okay, so second gold mine right here, we actually miss micro on our base, so we end up losing the scout and end up losing the 1 men-at-arm. I think we lose this men-at-arm, but you can see how much damage they actually can take from being garrisoned by 11 villagers. And I'm getting hunted down by a wolf here, which does 3 damage, but I mean, it's a men-at-arm, so eventually they just run you down. So we have the second men-at-arm now. We do get this 1 villager, so now he has to back off the gold again. So now we have 1 villager basically, or 1 men-at-arms on this mining camp, right? So if you are the French in this situation, you are not on 200 food. You can't really force this because you're going to lose more villagers early on. He does go over to a lumber camp, but he still has enough lumber after the lumber camp to still train what do you call it, another mining camp without being affected by it. So another thing some players can do is go for a trading post, but that's only in feudal age, to kind of stabilize your economy. But look at this, right? So I could have isolated this gold mine, which would have made a big difference, because I think that's the key to this strategy when you're playing the English. It's not just going for, hey, I pushed with 2 men-at-arms and I isolated the gold. It doesn't get you anywhere as the English, because you're just going to siege down 25 wood. That's all you gain, and isolating that early gold, and you can see how close he was to that, right? So if this was my perspective, you can see I did not do a proper job in scouting out. I'm trying to do it now with a men-at-arms because I was very bad with my scout, but now I'm sending this men-at-arms forward. I'm not looking what I'm doing. I missed the gold mine, and now I'm just running around the back of the base. I'm like, yo, there has to be another gold mine, because I'm taking it into consideration of my own. So this was my idea and reasoning as to why his gold mine had to be at the back, which it wasn't. So now I hear the age up going up, and now I'm like, gosh, I tried isolating the gold, which I effectively did. I lost the scout, which was bad. I didn't scout out properly because I lost my scout. So, those are the small things that's going to make a difference in making this strategy work for you. Because if I isolated this gold, like I did right here, and I knew where those other gold mines were, it was going to give me the time to get the age up, before he was going to age up. You can see I have not started my age up, and he's already halfway done with his School of Cavalry. So he's still going to get the push. He's still going to get the advantage with those early knights. You know, you won't be able to deal with those knights as the English with longbows. You'll have to include spearmen and invest more wood and food resources. And if he builds up numbers with their archery range and having enough villagers to supply the food and the wood, you know, you are going to struggle as the English against this. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit here. You can see immediately School of Cavalry goes down, doesn't have enough for a Royal Knight. Now he gets that first Royal Knight up. They actually get the Royal Knights in the second age. It's specific to the English, to the French. Another thing that if you are playing the French, drop down a blacksmith as soon as you can. You automatically get the decarbonization upgrade, which is the extra attack upgrade. So you just need the arrow upgrade, and you almost 100% counter those longbowmen in the early game, because you can see this Royal Knight already has 3 armor. If you get that extra blacksmith, you get that extra attack, which is 30, which is huge. Plus, if you have that just that armor, you're already going to sit on quite a very strong early unit that can counter anything the English is going to throw at you really early on. So I'm trying to isolate my base here by going very defensively. Personally, I do like going defensively, so I actually thought this was a scout. So you can see we got a bit of damage off on this Royal Knight, about half damage, but I had to isolate my food. The food is kind of safe right now. I had the spearman chasing down the Royal Knight. He can probably deal with this single spearman very effectively. They do extra 20 damage at level 1 versus the cavalry, so you know, 1 or 2 or 3 of them would be very effective, but remember, after the charge, you know, they're going to take 3 hits from a single knight to die. And the attack speed is pretty similar, 1.75 in the vicinity of the town center, but outside of the town center it's not going to be very effective. And what they do with the Royal Knights is, as soon as you can see that 30 damage, they'll do more 30 damage with that upgrade, and which will basically you know, if you have that upgrade, 3 shots on a single spearman and they'll die. So if you have 4 or 5 knights and there's a few spearmen defending, you'll be able to run through that and very effectively deal with them. I still have that single men at arms here at the back, very much a loss of resources. He has a double stable now, going for archery range, very standard of the French. You complement your knights with your archery range, get the upgrades, and then you push into your enemy's base, use the archers to build rams, and then you just overwhelm them by doing small continuous raids on anything outside the town center. So you know, this is safe to raid because you force him off the food. You keep your knights right here, or just kite the spearmen around while you use your archers to pick off the villagers or pick off the spearmen, and then reapply with your knights and just keep rinse and repeating. A very, very effective strategy in my opinion right now. But you can see he has the double knights now. He actually did get the healing upgrade, which means he's able to just take them out of combat and get that healing. That same knight, which had 88 health, now has 140 health, and you can see he can take damage, and now he just runs off, and as soon as he's out of combat, he's just gonna heal this up again. So we have the deer hunt here. We still have no farms. We do still not have the wheelbarrow upgrade. You know, I'm trying to transition into the wood line right here, but also I think it's also a state of mind, guys. You can see now he has 4 royal knights, 4 archers, and there's a minute left of the game, and I think the reason why I am losing games more often than not is because I am playing when I'm very tired, and that makes you give up very easily instead of trying to push through these little fights, because this is perfect. You know, if you think about it from this perspective, you know, what he did here was perfect. He created distraction, and as soon as the distraction is created, you push in with your main army. I'm kind of expecting it by training, you know, more spearmen, but it's a single spearman. at 10 minutes in, you know, you can even go castle age in 10 minutes as the English, playing very defensively under the town center. So archers picks off the spearmen, royal knight stays clear of the spearmen. You know, archers are picking off the spearmen, and as soon as it's done, you have royal knights right inside the base. And you know, what are you going to do? This is quite a very effective strategy with the French pushing with knights and archers. There is counters available. My problem was I was playing tired, and I was not robust enough to do the right things. You know, go for the castle age, micro my villagers correctly, get the men at arms in the right position without wasting them. So those type of things makes the difference between a feudal age successful English player and losing in the feudal age, because you can very much win a lot of games at the English right now in the feudal age and very much overwhelm your enemy. You know, even 4 or 5 archers with 2 spearmen would be able to isolate gold, isolate food, build a outpost on top of his resources, and just keep building up those masses. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. You can see there's a lot of defeats, a lot of victories here. I am about on a 50%, I guess, win and lose rate. I'm focusing exclusively right now on the English until we go into gold 1, and I'll record that process and progress with you guys. So from silver 1 to gold 1 to show you guys as we climb. It's going to be primarily focused on playing into feudal and castle age and focusing on rushing properly, especially against factions where you can isolate the gold very early on, scouting properly, getting the gold isolated and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.